Welcome to today's news bulletin.
We want to know everything about the man you work for.
The man? Oh no. This isn't about the father. This is about the son, Artemis Fowl.
During this unprecedented year when we find ourselves at home with more time to stream than we've ever had before, Disney's decision to forego the theatrical debut of its latest big-budget offering in favor of a Disney Plus release seemed like the opportune thing to do. Sadly, Artemis Fowl is not an enjoyable diversion to take your mind off current events, but a lifeless, CGI-heavy take on a beloved series of sci-fi fantasy novels.
All right, save my father, save the world.
Whole team ready, tell them we on deck.
This forgettable narrative centers on young Artemis Fowl, the son of a criminal mastermind, who must rescue his father who's been held for ransom. The MacGuffin in this film is a coveted magical object known as the Aculos, which has the power to open doorways to other universes. Like many of the plot lines throughout the movie, the Aculos is no more than an empty, shiny object that adds very little of substance to the story. One of the film's biggest issues is its pacing, especially whenever there's a new character introduced. Even without having read the novels, it feels like Kenneth Branagh and his team are trying to cram more story than the film's 95-ish minute runtime will allow. Artemis, for example, is supposed to be our extraordinary hero, who, we're told many times, is an exceptional person who can accomplish any task. But we never really see him do anything remarkable. Besides a brief encounter with Artemis's therapist, where he tries to find out what makes the boy tick, there's very little time spent learning who Artemis is as a character. Another of the film's missed opportunities is the relationship between Artemis and a spirited crime-fighting fairy named Holly Short. Both Holly and Artemis desire to know more about their fathers, but this particular dilemma is never fully explored. It seems like you're supposed to feel a deeper connection between the two, but their storylines are rushed and their bond is never conveyed in the film. These character development shortcomings extend to most of the supporting cast, including Judi Dench's curiously raspy voiced Commander Root, and even Colin Farrell, who's more of an afterthought by the second half of the film. There's also Josh Gad, who plays a giant dwarf named Mulch Diggums. Surprisingly, but probably not intentionally, Mulch is the most watchable character in the entire film. Unlike his counterparts, who appear to be taking everything in this fantastical world a bit too seriously, Gad is able to imbue his character with plenty of charm, acting as the film's capable narrator and often welcome comic relief. It's like he's the only person aware of what kind of movie he's actually in. The few times where Artemis Fowl shows some signs of life is during its action set pieces. However, like most of the visual splendors throughout, these sequences never quite raise the stakes for what is an otherwise by-the-numbers adventure.
I'm the next criminal mastermind.
Disney's Artemis Fowl offers some eye candy when it comes to its thrilling action and special effects, but struggles to develop its characters.
You really want more out of life. Chances are you're not really going to fit in anywhere. I mean really fit in. Because the majority of people settle for average, and if you don't drop down to their level, there's going to be conflict. They won't like the fact that you are committed to your dreams, because it reminds them that they gave up on theirs. One of the biggest reasons most people don't follow through with their dream life is fear that they will be left out if they achieve it. This may be conscious or unconscious, but most people give up. Not because they can't make it, not because they aren't capable, but because they are surrounded by people who have settled. People who don't want to see you succeed, because that would remind them that they didn't. They might start saying, "You've changed since you've become successful," not understanding that your goal was always to change, to develop, to reinvent yourself. You will hear ridiculous comments like, "Successful people are greedy," or my favorite, "There's more to life than money." Of course there's more to life than money. There's also more to life than struggling to pay bills and put food on the table. So much negativity towards the successful. And the sad part is, they will never be successful with this mentality. You ask 99% of successful people how they achieve their dream life, and I can assure you, the story will be the same. They worked harder than the majority. They kept going when the majority gave up. They suffered through failure, but made sure that was not the end. Rather, a lesson learned. They went through hell, but always focused on the end goal. Sadly, most people would rather argue for their limitations than know there are no limitations. Most people would rather hate on the successful than learn from them, than model them. Most people would rather pick up a beer rather than a book. Then they complain that they are in a dead-end job or complain they got laid off from their job. But if they made the right decisions early on, they wouldn't have to clean up their bad decisions later on. Most people would rather party now and suffer later. Maybe that's why most people are not where they want to be. Maybe that's why most people complain. Maybe that's why most people live with regret. If you are most people, commit right now to becoming the minority. Set your goal right now. Don't you waste another moment of your life. Find a mentor in a book or a person and learn from them. Model them. Read. Develop your mind. Reinvent yourself. Make a commitment to be different. Make a commitment to never give up on your goal, your dream life, your vision. Your future self is begging you to make that commitment. Your future self is begging you to stick it out.